Hi guys, how are you doing? Maybe you've had a bit of a difficult week. This week's results, we have only had one entry trigger, and that was a break-even trade, which I'll show you in a minute. And we're going to go through in this video knowing when not to take a trade, which is a very important bit. And the hint is you have to think a little bit bigger and wider. So my name is Dima. This is the weekly market review on a Friday. And let's go through our shortlist here on the right hand side for the pairs of the week that we outlined, and then we will see what actually happened and what lessons we can get. So this week's lesson will be about knowing when not to trade. So where did we end up? Well, let's start with the dollar, and we wanted to see a push higher, which we did not get. We were anticipating, we were waiting for the dollar for some price action, either for the drop lower and to head higher, or just to head higher still, and none of those happened, which means that we just have to wait. So we planned this idea, we planned scenarios, and since none of them happened, we have had a lackluster week on the dollar, then none of those are in effect, which means that on the dollar pairs such as euro, which was the next one, we were looking at the same thing to happen, move either higher or lower, and really none of those happened. We did have a minor idea here, but that wasn't very low probability. We had no reversal. There was nothing to look at entering here. As you can see, we're kind of stuck in this range, just as we are in the dollar. And then we had euro pound. Euro pound, this is the break-even one. We had a zone here that we were looking at as the cheap price to head higher. We had a brief pullback here, and the market came back down. And this is now an invalid idea since we have not had a reaction on level. And now it's the weekend, so we scrap this trade. That's another one that was a tricky one, and we just had lower prices. There was no clear entry here on the euro pound. Just following the same ideas. CAD yen, basically the same thing. We had a range. We wanted to see a clear break, which we did have only today on Friday, but since that is Friday, we have to wait until next week to consider it. Until then, what did we had? Well, just a clean drop. There was really no entry here. What we wanted to see was a reaction off this level, which we did not have. The market went right through, heading into these lows. And now we're heading back up. So nothing to see here. There's no reversal. Usually we see something during the week, but this is one of those rare weeks where the market just had its own ideas, its own way, and we had to leave it alone. Again, pound Swiss didn't have a break higher or lower. We're still in this range. It looks like we're heading higher. However, we still want to see the break of that, and that did not happen. So again, we're having to really be patient and sit on our hands. We're going to go through that in a second. Same thing with Aussie CAD. Did not reach into our zone, just consolidated, and we're not headed higher. Again, just consolidating, just doing very messy stuff. Aussie New Zealand, we'll get to the lesson in a minute. Aussie New Zealand, again, wanted to see a break higher or a break lower. Instead, we have just been ranging here. There was this possible idea, which was the least preferable one, to head into the zone and react. However, we went right through it, continued ranging, and it's becoming very messy here. Yeah, it's just not clear until we see our levels, and the ultimate one was down here. Okay, that's Aussie New Zealand. And lastly, US Tech or Nasdaq. Again, wanted to see a drop beyond this zone. That did not happen. Having a look on the lower time frame, and also wanted to see a break higher, which did not happen. We just ran a wick through it, and we're now back into the range. As you can see, what do we have? Well, the whole market is really messy at the moment. Whatever chart we look at, dollar inconsistent, euro inconsistent. We had this level that we reached on Monday and Tuesday, right into the original target point which we had up here. I reversed off that very briefly and continued higher. So really the lesson here, let's just go through the lesson. The lesson here is plan your trade and trade your plan. If the market does not show the opportunity, does not present itself, then we do not enter. We do not actually engage with it, because we're only looking for certain probabilities, certain parameters, certain environments in the market in order to play to our edge. And if that's not there, then we have to accept it and just accept the fact that this is how it is. Now, let me give you a visual of what that would look like and how do you actually implement this idea, and how do you actually keep in mind the idea that it's okay not to trade, that it's fine, it's acceptable, it's allowable for the market to do its thing. And sometimes if we have a tricky week like this week, you may feel like, you know, your time is wasted. The closer you get to the end of the week, the more kind of edgy you become because you become impatient. How do you actually practice patience? Well, let me go through it with you. So let's go through a visual. And what we're going to cover here is how to actually be patient and the psychology behind it. Okay, so that's the aim, and this is what we're going to learn in today's video. It won't take long. Let me go through it briefly. And let me give you a quick visual. Now let's pretend that right here is the start of the week, and pretend that right here is the end of the week. And as we go through the week, we have the opportunities during the trading week. And the opportunities look like all kinds of different things. I imagine this circle encompasses all the opportunities. Sometimes we have different shapes, different sizes, different ways. The market presents all kinds of variables, all kinds of opportunities, and they look very different. Now we have to pinpoint the one that is right for us, the one that is right for you to enter in your time, in your place, at this right condition. And when all these things come into place, that's your bit, that's your part. And when you take that part, that's the one you focus on, and then you wait until the next time comes. And all of this noise, all of this malarkey going on in the week is just the market doing its thing. Now, let's say that the green dot, green circle, represents your opportunity and your perfect one. And you will go through the week and have many different types of scenarios, types of patterns, market behavior happening. But when you spot your one, that's the one that you're going to actually take. Okay, and then you have lots of noise going through the week, and then suddenly, boom, maybe right at the end of the week, another one comes along, and that's the one you take. And as you can see, you have to filter out all of these and just pick the one or two or whatever, however many there are of your opportunity, of your particular high probability scenario. And you have to leave all of these aside. So we're accepting the fact that we have all of this within the week, and we leave all of them to the side. We're only taking certain ones that really fit our criteria. And for this week, let's say we had these two, and then we take those. Now, if you keep this in mind, and if you hold the idea that, okay, I know there's going to be a lot, but I know that I'm only taking the best of the best, the creme de la creme, and those are the ones that are going to actually make the money. They have the highest probability. They may be small compared to the whole thing. They may be a little bit different, but I know, you know, that if you just take these, just these, that at the end, there will be a consistently profitable upside to your account. Now, if you take this concept to your idea, if you want, you could take a screenshot and print this out if you want, just as a visual, and know that you will have a lot, but only certain ones are for you. The second part to it is to understand, if we look to the left here, I've got this grid, to understand that we do not know when it will actually happen. Now we have the week beginning to end, and this is just 1 week. Now if we expand the time and we say after in a month we have 4 of these weeks, and in a quarter we have about 12 of them, and we think about all of those 12, and then if you think about the year, it's 52, although you have to take away some holiday time. Now if you look at the whole bigger picture rather than just this 1 week, you will realize that it's okay, because at the end of the month, let's say, you will still have enough opportunities and still be able to make use of what the market provides. And that is the real understanding. So we got the bigger picture, the much higher time frame, higher, more expansive picture of what's really going on, and how your account and how your trades play out. They may not play out this week. They may not even play out next week. They may not play out next month. But in between, somewhere in between, when you string them, you will have a consistently profitable scenario, a series, even though you don't know exactly when it's going to happen. So if you have heard of the book Trading in the Zone by the famous Mark Douglas, he says there is a random distribution between wins and losses for any given set of variables that define an edge. Now, what does that mean? In simple terms, the actual wins and losses for your strategy are random. It means the wins, losses, or it could be break even, or it could be no trades at all, is random between a set period of time. It's really random. The win, the loss, when you have a win, when you have a loss, when you have no trade, it's all random, meaning you could have a week without it, you can have a week with many, you can have a week with wins and losses, many wins or many losses, or some wins, some losses, or nothing at all. Any edge, meaning any strategy, any high probability idea, it's going to have a random distribution between many days, many weeks, many months. How do we visualize it? Well, let's just go through a visual right here to really keep that in mind, that we don't have to stick, we don't have to hold on to a certain week, a certain day, a certain trade. It's all part of a big picture. Now, here's a grid of 100, let's say, days, for example, and we don't know. Each one of these squares is, let's say, a day or a week, and we're gonna have a tick if it's a winning trade or a winning week overall, and we have a cross if it's a losing one. We'll have a break even, and then we'll have a no trade as well. Let's put that circle in. So we're gonna distribute it randomly. So we have some winners, we'll have some losses perhaps, and we'll obviously have no trades as well. So let's just say there is a week without many trades, so let's just put them in. So here we have many days or many weeks where we don't have any trades, and then maybe we'll have one positive one, one negative one, and on and on and on. So it's all very random. All of these results are random. We don't know when the loss will come, when the winner will come, when we will have a break-even day, or 2 days in a row, or 3 weeks in a row, or a profitable month. It could be a little bit profitable, it could be a lot, it could be hopefully a small loss, so you don't manage your risk. But essentially, when you fill in this whole grid, you do not know when anything will happen. All you could do is show up with your edge, with your strategy, that's high probability, and then allow the market to do its thing. At the end, if you tally all these up and you tally them on this, on the side here, then all of these results at the end, the net result should come out at the bottom positive. And if you manage your risk on the losing trades and you increase the probability of your winning trades or your risk to reward, then at the end you will have a net positive result. And that is just a factor of life, and it's a matter of what actually happens. This is how the market plays out. So we have busy seasons, we have low seasons, we have holidays, we have high impact news, we've got what else do we have? A lot of volatility, sudden events. All these things factor in, but we don't actually know when the probability, when the trade, I should say, will actually be a winner, a loser, or break even. We just need to follow along and just consistently, continuously take out our trades from the environment that works for us and works in our edge. And as you can see, this week we have not had that. The market just did not want to do it. It did not. Simple as that. And it was randomly distributed. If you followed along with previous weeks, you would have seen that we have had several positive setups, several positive ideas. Sometimes they triggered, sometimes they did not, sometimes there was a loss, but overall it's net positive, and that is the main thing. So here's the visual, taking out your particular scenarios out of the market, remembering this big picture of many trades, and you really have to look at it. 100 is like a good number to look at, and if you track your trades and journal them, you will be able to see that in real time in front of your eyes. And then that is actually how you are able to be patient, because psychologically, mentally, if you hold this picture in your mind, you know that there is a random distribution, as Mark Douglas says, between the wins and losses. Random. We don't know when, we don't know how it'll play out. And as long as we stick to picking the ones that have the edge, then a long term, with all of this data, the account will be net positive. So that is how to keep that in mind and how to take it into account when you are, before you're trading, as you're trading, and at the end of the week, and really reassess whether the main thing is that whether you have actually stuck to your edge and your plan and took out these high probability ones and discarded the rest. And if you didn't discard the rest, if you took some which were not in your edge, then that is not part of the plan, and therefore you are not trading your plan. And we have to adjust that and then only take those that are with the edge. So every single trade, all of these on the grid should be the edge. And if they're not, then reassess yourself. And maybe that's a lesson for another day for why you don't take the trades which are in your probabilities in the right environment while you are chasing the market. So leave a comment down below if you'd like to cover that, or what else you'd like to cover in the next videos. I will be making more of these, so now we will have these every Friday. And if you have any questions or concerns or what's going on in your own mind or your emotions when you're trading and as you're going through the week, feel free to share them below and I will have a look at them and we will cover those subjects as well. So every week we'll reassess. This week we just happen to have only one actual valid entry, valid edge, which did not play out on the euro pound, but such is life. And for this week, we just take it as it is. This is one of those weeks with these no entries, many of these no trading days, but no harm done. Risk is managed. The account is safer as well. And we wait until next week. Right. That's it for this week. I hope you have had a productive week regardless, and you're keeping in mind your mind in check. My name is Dima. I will catch you on Monday for the next week and review, which I'm sure we will have some more setups to look at for the week. If it's not working out this week, then the probabilities increase that next week may be a bit more interesting as we end November. Okay, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.